Imagine yourself in a world where nothing about marriage is sacred. You're young, barely old enough to understand politics. Yet tonight, you are the centerpiece of it. The nobles call it the bride's night, a ritual whispered about in taverns, joked about in corridors, but never openly discussed. The chamber is suffocating with candlelight. Red drapes hang from the ceiling like rivers of blood, the scent of wine heavy in the air. Servants have bathed you, dressed you in silk, painted your face as if you were a doll. You don't feel like a person anymore, you feel like an offering. And waiting at the bed is not a queen, not even a bride. It is the Lord himself, older, powerful, smiling with that unnerving hunger reserved not for food or drink, but for control. His gaze strips you of any pride you thought you had. Around you, the courtiers whisper and laugh. They know exactly what happens here. This is not love. This is not marriage. This is ownership, sealed behind closed doors. For centuries, these nights have been part of power games where men take brides not for alliance, but for humiliation, spectacle, and desire. To resist is impossible. To survive is uncertain. Your hands tremble as the door closes. The laughter of the nobles fades, replaced by silence heavy enough to crush you. And in that silence, you understand. Tonight isn't about union, it's about surrender. And after this night, your life will no longer be yours. The morning after the bride's night is worse than the night itself. You walk through the corridors, and every pair of eyes lingers on you a moment too long. The servants bow, but their smirks betray them. The courtiers murmur, and though you cannot catch every word, you know the tone mockery. You are no longer simply yourself. You are the Lord's newest bride. In medieval courts, gossip spreads faster than plague. And now, you are the story whispered behind sleeves. How you were chosen, how you looked, how long the candles burned in that chamber. They exaggerate, they invent details, they laugh. And yet, in their laughter, there's fear. Because what happened to you could happen to them. At feasts, you are seated closer to the Lord. Nobles raise their goblets to you with mocking smiles, as though you are both honored and shamed at once. Every gesture reminds you that you are property, a symbol of his power, his appetite. No sword or crown protects you from that truth. And yet, something else begins to stir. With humiliation comes a strange, twisted kind of influence. The whispers that mock you also circle you with fascination. You know secrets now, what the Lord desires, what he fears, what he keeps hidden behind silk and shadows. And in a court where secrets mean survival, this shame could also be your weapon. But the cost of holding such knowledge is high. Every night you return to the same chamber. Every night, the ritual repeats. And each time, a little more of who you once were fades, replaced by a version of yourself that is not entirely victim, not entirely prisoner. Something darker is taking root. And as you lie awake, hearing the Lord's breathing beside you, a question gnaws at you. Are you being broken, or are you being remade? At first, you thought survival meant silence, keeping your head low, enduring. But soon, you begin to notice something else. The same courtiers who laughed at you on the first day now avoid your gaze. The same servants who mocked your walk now lower their voices when you pass, because they know. You have seen the Lord in his most private state. You have become the vessel of his desires, his weaknesses, his cruelty. That knowledge alone makes you dangerous. At banquets, when the goblets clink and music drowns the hall, nobles still whisper, but their whispers are careful now. They wonder if you speak of what happens in that chamber. They wonder if the Lord tells you secrets in the heat of his indulgence. They begin to treat you not just as a shameful figure, but as a potential threat. And so, you lean into it. A glance here, a smile there, a single word dropped in the right ear, and suddenly, rumors spread like wildfire. They believe you know more than you actually do. And in this court, perception is more powerful than truth. But here lies the true perversion. The very act that broke you now becomes your weapon. Every humiliation is also a brick in your rising tower of influence. You start to realize that your body, once stripped of dignity, is also your disguise. Behind it, you build something no one expects power of your own. Yet every night when the chamber door closes, you are reminded of the price. The Lord believes he owns you. The court believes you are his plaything. But deep inside, another question sharpens like a blade. Who really controls whom? If you're still watching, hopefully you're enjoying our episode. Please like the video and tap the subscribe button for upcoming episodes. Comment below where you're listening from. Okay, let's continue our story. The court is a theater, and you've learned your role well. By day, you keep your eyes lowered, walking as the obedient bride. By night, behind closed doors, you endure what you must. But beneath the silks and whispers, you've discovered something the others have not. Your shame is their fear. Nobles who once mocked you now offer favors an extra jewel, a slip of parchment, a warning about enemies. Servants who once smirked now kneel faster, worried that one wrong word might travel from your lips to the Lord's ear. Even the priests avoid your gaze, as if your very presence reminds them how powerless their prayers are against the sins of power. And the Lord? He still believes you are his possession. He touches you as one claims a trophy, confident that your silence is loyalty. He does not see the glances you exchange across the hall, the subtle nods, the half smiles. He does not see that while he uses you to feed his appetite, you use him to carve your survival. But survival is no longer enough. You taste the thrill of manipulation. A whisper from you can pit noble against noble, lover against rival. A laugh at the right moment can change alliances. The same lips that once trembled in silence now bend the fate of courtiers. Still, with every step you take into this dangerous game, the weight grows heavier. The Lord's gaze lingers longer, sharper, as if he senses your defiance beneath the surface. And when the chamber door shuts at night, you wonder, will he destroy you if he discovers the truth? Or worse, does he already know and simply enjoy watching you play? The air is thick with tension. Every glance, every whisper, every smile could be a dagger. You've played the game long enough to know how fragile power is, how quickly admiration turns to suspicion, how easily control slips through fingers. And now, it comes to a head. At the feast, the Lord watches you with that familiar hunger, but his eyes flicker with doubt. He suspects, or perhaps he senses, that you are no longer the obedient prize he thought he possessed. Courtiers, sensing the shift, circle like vultures, eager to see the mighty unmasked. Your every move is a gamble. Then comes the moment. A secret is revealed, not yours, but one you overheard. A betrayal, a scandal that could topple alliances, ruin reputations, ignite anger. You could stay silent, preserve your safety, and survive as you have. Or you could act. The choice is perilous. Speak and risk the Lord's wrath. Stay silent and let opportunity slip. You speak. A whisper, soft yet deliberate. The hall freezes. Eyes widen, some gasp, some smirk, some curse under their breath. The Lord's lips tighten. Power trembles in the room, as fragile and sharp as a blade poised over a throat. In that instant, you are no longer the victim. You are the force that sets the storm in motion. The aftermath is chaos cloaked in silk. Alliances shatter, whispers turn to rumors, laughter becomes fear. The court has learned a new truth. You are not merely a plaything, you are a player. And the Lord? He watches, intrigued, horrified, fascinated, aware that control has slipped like sand through his fingers. As the candles gutter and shadows swallow the hall, you realize the truth of your existence here. In a world built on power, shame, and desire, the line between prisoner and master is thinner than the veil of a curtain. You have survived, yes, but you have also changed the rules. And in the dark heart of this medieval court, that is the most dangerous act of all.